Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is out in theaters today as we're recording this, but one of the biggest stories on our site currently is about The Last Jedi.
What?
That came out a couple years ago, though. Anyway, Rian Johnson, who wrote and directed Star Wars The Last Jedi, has taken to Twitter recently to defend his portrayal of Luke Skywalker in response to a detailed critique of the character development in his film.
That is right, Jonathan. We are still fighting over The Last Jedi.
Can't
a Twitter
believe it.
account called Not Ryan's Luke, which definitely is,
They're giving an unbiased review.
right off the bat. Highlights key scenes. He highlights key scenes from the franchise to illustrate that the author's personal issues with Luke's attitude and behavior in key scenes of The Last Jedi. The author argues that these decisions, quote, undermine the central conflict of the original trilogy and the prequels. So yeah, just a lot of not my Luke.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Not Ryan's Luke, the account, uses a pivotal scene from 1983's Return of the Jedi to help illustrate their point. Luke had given in to his emotions by striking out at Vader, but eventually restrains himself and overcomes his emotions, throwing down his lightsaber and proclaiming to the Emperor,
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
spoilers. Not Ryan's Luke claims this completes Luke's hero's journey that was set up in A New Hope.
Now, flash forward to 2017's The Last Jedi. In that movie, Luke briefly considers murdering his own nephew because of the growing darkness in the boy. Luke senses Ben Solo is powerful and could be unstoppable if he fell completely to the dark side. He can't save the boy, so he makes a decision to ignite his lightsaber and take Ben's life, but he stops himself like he does in Return of the Jedi, following that decision by putting himself in a hiding in like a weird old hermit-style way like Jedi Masters before him, Yoda and Obi-Wan did, only this time he's hiding in shame for the momentary lapse of judgment he had over the threat that he could be the murderer of his own nephew, but ultimately wasn't.
Johnson defended his characterization of Luke saying, quote, I understand that point of view, but I completely disagree with it. In fact, I think it disrespects the character of Luke by treating him not as a true mythic hero overcoming recurring wounds and flaws, but as a video game character who has achieved a binary permanent power-up.
Something the Mandalorian's doing really well these days.
Yeah, they know how to be a video game.
You've unlocked heat-seeking missiles!
Yep.
Basically, what Johnson is saying is that he attempted to highlight Luke's ongoing struggle with his emotions, and that one moment of clarity doesn't mean Luke can't succumb to his emotions again. In fact, the entire film is basically about Luke coming to the grips with his regret and shame and realizing that ultimately hiding from his destiny and burying his abilities is a waste when he could be using them to save the day and inspire others, although without ever actually hurting anyone.
Yeah.
Force projection.
It doesn't hurt to do that. And having watched all the Star Wars films myself, but not being maybe as diehard a fan as you and a few other people in the office, I loved and still to this day love what Ryan did with Luke in The Last Jedi. I think he has one of the most interesting and complex character arcs in that film. And while there are definitely some moments I would have liked to see that weren't there, a little more catharsis with Chewie about everything in The Force Awakens, we're ultimately watching a very smart but very scared man deciding to run from his problems, only to have to come to terms with the fact that running may not have been the best course of action. But it's not too late for him to fix those mistakes, and I think Luke's realization of that is executed really beautifully.
That's right. And although millions and millions and millions of people disagree, you're completely entitled to do that. That's part of the whole fun of being a Star Wars fan. Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, directed by J.J. Abrams, is in theaters right now, and because it does say Star Wars in the title, we are legally required to debate the best and worst aspects of it for the rest of our lives, like we've done with all of these movies forever, because like I said, that's one of the fun parts.
Exactly.
If you've already seen The Rise of Skywalker, check out this video on every Jedi in the new movie, but beware, there are tons of spoilers, just all over the place, so stay
safe.
Stay safe. And for all that, we'll see you next on IGN Now. May the Force be with you.
Why in The Mandalorian, when he got the missiles, did he just use all of them immediately? Like, he's bad at his own video game.
I mean, what do you do in games? Do you just save everything until the final boss
Yes, I
fight?
do, of course.
I do
and then
too.
I save it after.
Yeah. I also reload when I have like basically an entire clip, but I fired one.
Oh yeah, if I'm missing 2 bullets and there's a moment, reload.
Video games are great.